You weren't born to explain. You were born to execute. You weren't made to blend in. You were made to break patterns. And yet, here you are rechained by reasons, locked behind logic that doesn't serve you, worshiping the altar of someday. But here's the truth. Your excuses aren't harmless. They are assassins of your potential. Every time you say, "I'm too tired," "I don't have time," "It's not the right moment," you are trading your destiny for comfort. You are handing over the keys to your future to fear, doubt, and procrastination, and letting them drive your life off a cliff. You think you're being rational, but your excuses are not reason. They are regret, disguised in rational clothing. History does not remember the people who waited. It remembers the ones who moved, the ones who stepped forward while trembling, the ones who built when nothing made sense, the ones who heard the same doubt, the same fear, the same exhaustion, but acted anyway. Look at Edisando. You think 10 failed attempts came without exhaustion? Look at Lincoln. You think 8 election losses didn't bring doubt? Look at Oprah. Do you think rejection didn't sting? But they all showed up. They moved when most people would have sat still and written a 5-paragraph essay justifying why it was okay to stop. That's what you're doing with every excuse. You are writing the eulogy for your own greatness. You say you're waiting for clarity, but clarity comes from action, not thought. You say you're waiting for confidence, but confidence comes from doing, not wishing. You say you'll start next week, but next week is just the name of a cemetery where dreams go to die. You think you're preserving your pride by hesitating, but you're burying your power. You think you're being safe, but you're being small. And small is not your destiny. You weren't born to run in circles of fear. You weren't born to repeat the same day for decades and call it a life. You were born to build, to rise, to burn with purpose until your breath becomes legacy. So stop telling the world your situation. Start showing the world your decision. People don't rise when it's convenient. They rise when it's required. When they realize that waiting is more painful than trying, that inaction hurts more than failure. Because failure is feedback, but hesitation is slow death. Your greatness does not need perfect conditions. It needs perfect commitment. It needs fire in your gut, not comfort on your couch. And yes, it will hurt. Yes, it will be lonely. Yes, it will cost you people, patterns, and peace. But the price of regret is far more brutal than the cost of discipline. Discipline never asks how you feel. It only asks, did you show up? And most won't. Most will post a quote, save a reel, nod along, and then go right back to negotiating with mediocrity. But not you, because you've heard this voice before. Not mine, yours. The voice that whispers at night, this isn't who I'm meant to be. The one that tugs at your chest when you scroll for hours, knowing your gift is withering. The voice that grows louder every time you lie to yourself and call it logic. That voice is your greatness fighting to stay alive. You've been feeding the wrong wolf, feeding doubt with your attention, feeding fear with your silence, feeding weakness with your excuses. But today, you flip the script. You don't need to be fearless to move. You need to be obedient to the mission, obedient to the higher version of yourself, the one who doesn't need approval, the one who doesn't wait for permission, the one who acts not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. The world has lied to you. It told you to trust timing, to be patient, to wait for signs. But the world doesn't reward patience. It rewards movement. Every second you hesitate, someone else is launching. Every minute you stall, someone else is building. And while you wait for the perfect moment, someone with half your resources and twice your drive is taking the life you said you wanted. So no, you're not behind because you're unworthy. You're behind because you're unwilling. Unwilling to be uncomfortable. Unwilling to be misunderstood. Unwilling to go alone. unwilling to start when you're not ready. But you were never supposed to feel ready. You were supposed to feel called. You were supposed to feel like your chest is on fire because the life you're living isn't matching the life you know you were made for. That pain, that discomfort, that internal pull, it's not stress. It's your soul yelling, move now. And you better listen, because if you don't, if you let your excuses keep winning, you will wake up in 10 years and realize you were the one who let it all go. Not life, not the world, not your parents or your partner or your boss. You held the match that burned the blueprint of your own destiny. You fed the lie instead of the fire. You protected your fear instead of your future. And you buried your potential one excuse at a time until there was nothing left but stories of what could have been. But that's not how your story ends. Not if you decide otherwise. You can stop the funeral of your greatness. You can pull your life off the conveyor belt of average. You can choose right now to burn the excuse and build the result, to silence the doubt and move in faith, to act like the person you were meant to become before the world told you to settle. Not tomorrow, not when it's easier. No. Then move with the weight of your decision. Because this isn't about motivation anymore. Motivation fades. It vanishes the moment life gets loud. This is about resolve. This is about standing in front of your weakness, staring it dead in the eyes and saying, not today. Your excuses have taken enough from you. They've stolen time you can't get back. They've stolen dreams that used to keep you up at night. They've stolen the version of you that once believed anything was possible. And for what? A few more moments of comfort? A few more days of playing it safe? Safe is not your destiny. Safe is the enemy of greatness. You don't need easy. You need real. You need raw, disciplined, daily war against everything inside of you that whispers, not yet. Because not yet is the most elegant lie ever sold. It sounds reasonable. It sounds strategic. But it's the slowest form of self-burial. Your goals are not waiting. Your calling is not on pause. You are either building your dream or you are delaying your destiny. And it begins with ownership. You want change? Then own your mornings. Own your routines. Own the way you speak to yourself when no one's watching. Because that's where power is built in, the quiet hours where no one claps, where no one cheers, where no one even knows your name. That's where warriors are made. In silence, in sweat, in sacrifice. Your greatness isn't unlocked in front of an audience. It's forged in the moments you want to quit but don't. In the moments you feel lost but still move forward. In the moments where excuses would be easy, but you choose to burn them. That's the difference between the few who rise and the many who repeat. It's not talent. It's not luck. It's execution. It's discipline without applause. It's choosing progress when procrastination offers a softer seat. You say you're not ready. Then let the work make you ready. Let the process carve the strength you think you don't have. Let adversity be your trainer. Let failure be your feedback. Let pain be your proof that you're still alive and still fighting. The people you admire, they didn't start with all the answers. They started with all the hunger. They didn't wait to feel confident. They acted themselves into confidence. That's what greatness requires. Not permission, not the perfect roadmap, just a decision followed by relentless, unshakable action. Action when you're tired. Action when you're doubted. Action when it's inconvenient, messy, unrewarded, because that's where your future is hiding. Behind one decision that says, no more delay, no more defense, no more negotiation with mediocrity. You don't need to believe in the whole path. Just take the first step like your life depends on it, because it does. And every time you show up, your belief will catch up to your behavior. Every time you move, your mind will follow. Your identity will shift. Your habits will solidify. And soon, the version of you that used to hide behind excuses will be a stranger you no longer recognize. But none of it will happen until you move, until you stop waiting for a sign and become the sign, until you stop chasing comfort and start chasing clarity, until you stop explaining your limitations and start executing your vision. You don't need more information. You don't need another plan. You need to start where you are with what you have and give everything you've got. Because your excuses, they don't care about your future. They don't want to see you rise. They want you stagnant, small, silent, safe. And every time you choose them, they win. Every time you let them speak, you shrink. But every time you act, in spite of them, you grow. Every time you break the pattern, you build the path. Every time you silence the doubt with discipline, you become dangerous to fear, to failure, to every limitation you've ever accepted as truth. So from this moment forward, you don't respond to excuses. You don't entertain hesitation. You don't even argue with fear. You ignore it like background noise, because you've got a life to build, a legacy to create, and there's no time left to waste. Keep going.